All right. So this week was a little different, right? Hopefully I'm not the only one that did it differently.
Yeah, it was a little different.
Yeah, it was different.
Yeah. So yeah, I was reading, we don't need to do the actual template that we usually do. Just need to write a paragraph about what we discussed, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Is that all we have to do?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think so. I think that's what the video said as well, the instructor hangout.
Wait, we have to do what?
So we just talk about the examples we have and then talk about the article of why good accountants do bad audits. And then just at the end, write a paragraph. One of us writes a paragraph about what we discussed and stuff.
Okay, so we don't have to form any questions about our individual examples?
Nope.
No.
He did give us a couple of questions that we could talk about
Yeah.
the article. But we'll start with the examples.
All right, yeah. Well, my example, it was about a few semesters ago. I was in an advanced writing class. It was kind of similar to his example. Basically, like every week we had a project or a write, like something we had to write, like a paper or something, like an assignment. And every week after he would grade the assignments, I'd probably get like a B or B plus or something like that. And every week I'd go to his office hours and talk to him about the assignment and like what I could have done differently or what his opinions were, or why he took points off for this and that and whatnot. And then by the end of the meeting, he would always like change my grade on the assignment. Like he would always get bumped up to like an A minus or an A because he figured, oh, you get the principle now, or we talked about it, you understand it now. And he would always change it. So like by the end of the semester, I did it with like the highest grade of the class, even though you look at my original grades and it was like average. So I thought that was like a form of like bias, or I don't know, like some sort of example.
What type of bias would you say that was?
What was it, like an ambiguity or something like that? Like basically like meeting with him, like forming not like a personal relationship, but a more familiar relationship. Like he gave more favorable grades to me than he would anyone else because I was actually attempted to talk to him about it and understand what was going on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Instead of just sticking with the original grade, he would always change it every week.
Nifty. I'm trying to think of how we would do the write-up. Do we want to just do like a summary of everyone's example as we go?
Yeah, we could do that. I'm trying to think. Go back to the page where it talks about it.
What we need to have.
Well, do we even have to submit anything, like a write-up?
Yeah.
All right, so it says when your group is finished with the discussion, just take 5 to 10 minutes to write a paragraph telling what was the most important or interesting insight your group gained from the discussion.
Oh, so we really don't even need to like include everyone's example.
No, I think just what the highlight of our conversation was.
Okay.
Or something we found interesting. I can share my example.
So what were some of your examples?
Yeah, so mine was similar to yours. Because there's a basketball coach in junior high that he would only play like the people that he knew well. Like if he knew their families well, he would like play them where everyone else kind of got put on the bench. I was just kind of thinking that's kind of like the familiarity one because he didn't want to hurt the people he knew, so he played those players. But he didn't care so much about the players that were strangers to him. So that was my example of bias that I'd seen.
It's a good example. I think mine was about the same as your guys' was too, except mine was my football coach. in high school.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Unless you were friends with the coach, then I guess it worked out for you.
Yeah. Well, the way in Hawaii, the way that it works is that everybody's related and knows one another. So if you're kind of outside of that circle, then it just kind of screws you up a little bit. At least where I grew up on the east part of the island, and all my family was on the west part of the island. So would have worked in my favor if I went to the school in the west part, but then it worked out.
Bummer.
But I wrote in my example that we had this particular year where I'm not really the tallest kid, and I wasn't the best one, but I mean, compared to all the receivers I had to compete against, I was probably one of the better receivers out of the group. And I remember we had one season where each of the receivers kept getting injured. So one would get injured, then another one would step up, and there came a point where I was the next one up, but I never got the call. So I was always like,
Bummer.
They went through the whole entire roster, didn't even put me in. It was like, this is just terrible. I'm better than, I don't want to brag or anything, but I was doing way better than most of those kids.
Yeah.
Such a pain in the neck. I mean, I still got to play a little bit, but yeah.
Freaking coaches.
He just knew everybody on the team. Like, parents would come to practice, just get good with the coaches, and it's like, oh, I got to put this, kid in. Oh, whatever.
Bummer. Kind of glad I didn't do team sports.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather stick to like track and field or go lift weights or something. I mean, it's more individual. I'd rather do that.
Yeah, track was where it was at. Nifty. Well, for my example, I didn't do like a personal experience, but I was reading back. It was, what type of bias did it say it was? Attachment bias?
Yeah, it's like attachment, ambiguity.
Yeah. It was, I was thinking of an attachment example, how like during the housing crisis, a few years back during the crash and everything, all the bond agencies or whatever would give all these bonds like a AAA rating, even though they're about to default, and just horrible because they knew that their clients would take their business elsewhere if they didn't give them a good rating. So that just led to like one of the biggest economical crashes ever.
Dang.
That's interesting.
Just because of that bit of bias.
It's no good.
Right.
Mine was gives you a better idea of the bigger picture.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Mine was with familiarity too. My sister, in high school, my sister played softball, and the team was kind of, she called it political, but they would play the people who played more than one sport, more than the people who just specifically played softball. And so the coaches who coached multiple sports were more familiar with those players and had gotten to know them better. And so they were played more than other people.
I wonder if that's because they're popular or something. That sounds interesting.
Man, a lot of high school drama.
Yeah, we all have a high school example. You can tell high school wasn't the highest point in our lives,
Yeah.
It was for me, but maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe now I'm past it. Bummer.
We'll probably include that in the write-up, just so we all had very similar ideas,
Yeah.
very similar types of biases. Except for yours, Jacob. Yours seemed about the same. Or different, I mean.
Yeah, you know me, just trying to be different.
Yeah.
Break apart. So each group, for example, just outside. So yeah, that's the first part, and then he goes for the instructions. So he's like, discuss each of the group members' examples. What situations did you identify where bias exists outside of auditing examples? Have a more general discussion. and he gives us some questions. Should I just read those?
Yeah, sure.
All right. The first one is he says, the title of this unit is ethics, but according to the article you just read, at least in the case of auditors, teaching auditors about ethics will not have an impact on bias. The authors suggest education that helps auditors understand the unconscious errors they make and the reasons they make them. For business students and others who will not be auditors, what kind of education, if any, will help future business professionals avoid bias? Or is it pointless? Oh,
Well, it seems like in the article it kind of talked about how education and training didn't really do a lot.
yeah.
That one of the reasons that the Sarbanes-Oxley Act came out was to actually put like rules in place to help against bias, because a lot of times we don't even know we're committing a bias, and that's why it makes it really hard. But I mean, I guess if you can educate people about the different kinds of bias so they can at least look for it, that would help. But like I said in there, I think it'd be really hard to actually educate someone since it's something that happens like subconsciously.
Yeah, that was something I found interesting, was the fact that you can do it and not realize it. And like I read the title to my wife, the article, what was the title? Like a good accountant, big bag, auditing or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's an accounting major. And she was like, "Oh no way," you know. And then I was like, bias, and she's like, "No, we can't be biased. Like we follow rules and stuff like that." And then like as I went on through the article, she's like, "Yeah, okay, I can see it."
Yeah, I think kind of going along with that the best way to fight the bias is, I mean, you can try your best to teach people about it, but in the end, I think it was having the more rules and regulations, and what is it, GAP, the generally accepted accounting principles, to kind of as the guidelines to help eliminate as much bias as possible by having just a set standard.
Which our standards in the U.S. are even higher than the standards like outside, like in the worldwide.
Yeah.
And because of that, a lot of countries have like adapted U.S. principles and just go by GAP, like what we go by, instead of forming their own rules. Just because we have a higher standard than anyone else.
Go America.
Very true.
I like it. Should we be writing this all down right now or just at the end?
I don't know. I mean, it looks like we just need to write a paragraph.
That's true. All right, I'll just keep going through the questions then. The next one, unless anyone else had anything to add. No, okay. The author suggests that the status quo, the universally accepted practice in the United States of how audit firms are hired, paid, and work with the companies they audit results in bad audits. Do you agree? Why do you think when Congress passed the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, I probably said that wrong.
That's about right.
Oh, all right. That there weren't more radical reforms like the ones suggested by the authors. That was just at the status quo of universally accepted practice in the United States. We're trying to think. So I think he's asking, why aren't there more radical reforms? Or is it just how that all works is what results in bad audits? That's kind of a confusing question. I'll post it into the discussion just in case no one else has it up. There we go.
I personally would say that I don't agree, and that's why there weren't reforms. Like it did the job, it worked, and it was fine. But that's just me going on a limb here.
You know what? No, I'm going to argue that. I just came across one of the points that the authors recommended to eliminate one source of bias. We must remove the threat of being fired for delivering an unfavorable audit, and to do that by having auditors with a fixed limited contract period for that they can't be terminated even if they give like an unfavorable review or audit. Because I was just thinking that kind of goes back to my example of the bond rating agencies and how they just started giving out these AAA ratings because they were afraid they were going to be fired. But if they had like a set contract period of time that they couldn't be fired, then they could give more honest ratings, and maybe we wouldn't have had a huge housing collapse. Well, we probably still would have, but that was a part of it.
But do you think that would also be an incentive to bad accountants to break the law, knowing that they're not going to be fired?
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, I like the fact that you can't fire someone over a bad review or something like that, a bad audit or something, but to make it to where it's like you can't get fired over a certain amount of time, I don't know if I agree with that.
I actually didn't even think of that. That's a good point.
But like, I do agree with the part that you said that they should get fired over a bad audit. Like, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, okay, let me keep reading. Because now I don't know. Making me doubt my beliefs.
Did it say how long the time periods were that they were hired, or was it just different with each individual?
In the paragraph that they're suggesting, I can just copy and paste the part of it.
Yeah, that'd work.
Where is it? Oh no. Here we go. I think I got it all. Oh, that's just a mess. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I think get through it.
Yeah, it starts after the question mark of what I first posted. Oh, that's just obnoxious. If you have the article open, it's the bottom of page 7 on the right corner. Is where it is if you'd rather read it there.
I feel like in a lot of ways this could act as like a double-edged sword. Probably depends on just the what's the word for it? Just I guess just what the person is trying to accomplish. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like his intent. There we go. What his intentions are. I feel like at least with like auditing, wouldn't they be able to track it if he was trying to like, you know, take money or whatever?
Yeah, you would think.
I mean, I know there's ways to get away with it, but I mean, there's so many things you have to go through to be able to like, you know, accomplish something like that.
I think that goes within the lines of hiring, because then they go on to talk about how you can't just hire a single accountant and go for the firm, because a group of people is more likely to be ethical than just taking one person away from them.
That's true, yeah.
Or we would hope, at least.
Yeah. That's true. I remember learning about that in accounting.
Yeah, I'm in financial accounting right now. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
there you
Mhm.
I remember when I was in 201, accounting 201 and 202. So pretty fun.
Yeah, there. What is that?
Well-
Yeah, 201 is what I'm doing right now.
I just remember learning about this in intro for accounting.
I think my wife has taken the 2 hardest accounting classes I've taken the whole major in the semester.
Ew.
Yeah, I don't see her like all. She spends like 12 hours a day working on just studying and work and stuff like that for the class.
Oh. No, not about that life.
Yeah.
Is there any more questions at all to discuss?
Oh yeah. Let me go down over to the next one if everyone's ready to move on. I'll just copy and paste it again. And that way you don't have to listen to me read it. Except that's okay. Yeah, well, this article is specifically about the auditors, is where it starts. But most of the studies are about human nature in general, and a few are specifically about lawsuits. Do you think the bias that was discovered for plaintiffs and defendants leads to a flawed legal system? Why or why not? Since lawyers are advocates for their clients, how much do you think lawyers are affected by bias? Does this create a flawed system? What are the advantages and disadvantages of a system where a lawyer is hired to advocate on behalf of her client? I think it's kind of a good thing so far. Well, it has its good parts. I mean, if you're a lawyer and you're hired to defend someone or be an advocate for someone, you want to know that you're going to get paid for it. So that financial incentive is definitely make sure that you do everything and all that you can to do your job right. Even if it's a point you don't really agree with.
I think that it would be more serious if there's bias within like the judges or a jury, since they're the ones actually making the decision. But
Yeah,
I mean, if you're taking the side of one party, you're of course going to have some bias, which I don't think is a terrible thing. But it would be a different story for like if the judge had a bias towards something or the jury did.
if I'm hiring a lawyer, I hope they're biased in my favor.
Yeah.
If not, then looking for a new lawyer. Does anyone have any other thoughts on that one? Okay, I'll do the next question. This one's just short, so I'll read it. It says, can you think of situations outside of auditing where there are lots of opportunities for bias? What could you do to change that situation?
I think we kind of mentioned that with all of our examples, most of them being sport related, right?
Sports.
I mean, that could be with coaches or with referees or with any aspect of sports, I guess.
I know different work environments can bring the same thing too. This happens a lot in Hawaii, so I'm kind of familiar with it.
Are you in Hawaii right now?
No, I'm here in Idaho. I'm in Rexburg.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah, and I guess this topic of bias just brings me back to my growing up.
Gotcha.
Looking how crazy the island is, to come to think of it.
Have no clue. You could be in Hawaii, you could be in who knows where right now.
Because we're online.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember in like some like work environments, like if you work in a hospital or work for the county or really just whatever, there's some kind of form of bias. At least in Hawaii, it's the way it is. I guess it's more of like a small community kind of a thing where everybody knows each other and it's just like, well, I want to hire you or whatever. And they do it like different races too. Like if you're not Filipino, you can't work at this sort of place. It's kind of crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd like that.
Is everyone in Idaho? or at school, or is anyone at home?
Yeah, everybody's in Idaho.
Florida.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm in Rexburg.
Yeah, same here.
Me too.
But where are you at, Landon?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida.
Oh,
Dang, I
oh,
thought you were here.
cool.
Only person here living it up.
I know, it's nice here. 80 degrees today.
Oh, you
Mm.
punk. Dang it.
Going to SeaWorld tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how you
I'm
celebrate.
jealous.
Celebrate at the end of every group meeting. Go see World. I'm done with these guys.
So all of you are in Rexburg then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun. I'm not a big fan of Rexburg. I'm actually from Blackfoot, Idaho, so
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know. Florida.
Nifty.
So, the second part of that question, what can we do to change that situation?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
For the sports, I don't really know. Because I mean, yeah, you can try and like force equal play time for all the players, and sometimes some of the players just suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like in all these cases, it all comes back down to honesty. And it's kind of hard when there's a system going where there's bias all around. But really, the best thing we can only do is just be honest in ourselves and, have that integrity. And hopefully it spreads to, to other people. At least that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And especially when you get into that leadership position, where you're like the head coach or the head referee or the head of a hospital or whatever it is, then you can spread that, that positivity and that honesty.
Yeah, I like that. That's really
It's the only way to do it. It's very
the
tough.
only uniform thing you can do. Just like general is promote good, honest people to leadership positions and hope their influence spreads.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's kind of like what we were saying before. It seems like the bias is always going to be there. Even if we don't even know about it, it's always going to be there. Only so much we can do. I mean, as a whole, but I mean, individually, we can change a lot about our bias. Got to recognize it and take action.
Nifty. Well, the next question is for accounting majors. Is anyone here an accounting major? All
No.
right. Well, we can skip that one. And then the last question is, why do you think it's so difficult to overcome bias even when you know about it?
I think it's part of human nature. I think it just happens without us doing it intentionally. And I could imagine it being almost like breaking a habit. I think we're biased without even thinking about it sometimes, and then to be aware of it and then to try and change that, it could be difficult.
That makes sense. Yeah, it is a habit. I like that.
Probably afraid to hurt feelings.
Yeah.
If you're nice. I'm not afraid to
Yeah.
hurt people's feelings. I do it far too often.
Yeah. It's like a natural man tendency, it seems like, with all this. I'm biased. I don't know.
What about the media? The media is another place with a lot of bias, right?
Oh,
Yeah, media is just terrible. There's no stopping that. You have fake news and everything. Nah.
right? Trump went on a freaking rampage.
You just tear
Multiple
it up.
rampages about fake news.
It's so true, though. There's a regimen,
Yeah. Everyone's got their own agenda.
Of course, all of that regimen kind of tailors toward different parties, like at least with CNN and like Fox and different things like that. People want to hear certain things, and people don't want to hear certain things. But they all have their agenda. Just gotta beware of what you look at, I guess. I don't know.
What can we do to change the bias in the media?
I think we just got to limit like what we watch. I feel it kind of like looks at. Let me try and get this answer right. Kind of reminds me of that quote from Joseph Smith: "That teach them correct principles and let them govern themselves." I think it's one of those things where you just have to like listen to it and then just figure it out.
Yeah, I like that
Figure
because
out if it's right or wrong or what's true. Like, get all the sources on like one story and then like, discern for yourself what's right.
yeah, I like that because the bias will always be there. It's up to you
And
to
even,
determine how you interpret it.
and even the church too even tells us don't, get engaged in too much media. So that's another thing we can do is not engage too much in media.
That's some good advice.
A little at a time. So no more Netflix.
Whoa.
No, I'm just joking.
I'll binge watch The Office night and day.
Oh man,
The Office.
just finished watching it for like the third time.
Nice.
I haven't gotten into that
The
yet.
Office.
What? Oh,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I watched a couple of episodes and it's not one of those shows I probably like to watch, to be quite honest.
we're creating a bunch of new bias right here. Brandon's the only one in Florida, so we're all biased.
Yeah, I mean, it's an okay show. I mean, it's just not one of those binge watch worthy shows, in my opinion. At least just in my taste. Because like they all want to do their work, and then there's that one boss that's just ruining everything.
That I
That's
don't know about you, Jacob, but that hurts a little bit.
Like I said, I'm not afraid to hurt feelings. We're making all kinds of bias here. I'm just kidding. Cool. Well, before I make some enemies here, that's all the questions.
I'm not knocking the show. It's okay. It's an okay show. It's better than Parks and Rec. That's. I don't know if you guys like that one, but
I'll agree with you there.
that one's like the same thing, except they're working at some kind of like recreation place.
I just like the awkward environment of it.
Yeah.
Everyone's just goofing off. Cool. So we just need to do a paragraph now about the most important or interesting insight our group gained from the discussion.
So while you guys were discussing, I jotted down a few different notes, so I can do a paragraph if you guys want me to.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, I've just been kind of following along with whatever we've been talking about.
Cool. Because, I haven't done an English or writing class since high school. So my paragraph writing skills are a little limited.
How have you gotten away
It's
with
not too
having or not having to take any English classes?
Since I did them in high school, they just gave me the credit for them.
Give you the credit.
Nice.
So there we go. You did all those APs.
Yeah, but now I'm suffering for it because I can't write.
It's been too long.
It's been way too long.
I don't know. I pattern my writing. I just try to pattern off of like general conference, or if I were to write a talk in church, or throw in filler, throw in stories,
Yeah.
fluff it up a little. Look to
Lot
the
of fluff.
source. Yeah, I can take care of the paragraph this time.
Sounds
Cool.
good.
Thanks, Canyon.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, man.
I'll probably just talk about like our each individual examples and talk about kind of the first part of it that we talked about, and what we kind of talked about towards the end, like what we could do to like change bias and help ourselves. And I'll probably include all of that. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want me to include, but
That's pretty much it.
okay,
Yeah, it doesn't say it has to be long. It just says just one short paragraph.
okay.
So cool.
The least I can do to try to win your favor back when I bash the office a little. So
Oh, you have all my favor. No, you're good. I'm just messing with you guys.
yeah, I'll take care of it. I'll send it to you guys too.
Okay, cool.
All right. Perfect.
Do we need the link? Do we need the link for this meeting too, or what? Let's do it.
Probably.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Okay. Yeah, just send me that if you can.
All right, sounds good. I'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. Well, actually, we're all going to get together here in Rexburg and hang out. So,
You're not even gonna meet online.
Watch The Office.
yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
It's funny.
See you guys Wednesday.
All right, see ya.
All right. Yeah, I'm going, guys.